Good morning, grade 6. Yes, we will continue today converting from decimals into percents and vice versa, and from percents into decimals. Now, so at the end of this lesson, we will be able to convert between decimals and percents. And good morning, Miss. In this lesson, converting decimals and percent, we will actually learn how to convert from decimals into percents and from percents into decimals. And we will notice that the process all depends on actually two digits. Okay, two digits, converting from, converting between decimals and percents are actually depending on two digits to the left. Okay, or two places value to the left. Now, as we said yesterday, actually pair means divided by and cent means 100. So it's a new, actually, let's say, a fact in math. It's nice to know it. So percent means divided by 100. To convert percent into this decimal, means you have to divide it by 100. Okay. Now, dividing by 100, it means in dealing with the decimal point is actually moving the decimal point to the left. Okay, actually moving it to the left and drop the percent sign, no need to the percent sign. And it's nice that they told you here why actually moving it to the left, because now dividing by 100 makes my value smaller. Okay, makes my value smaller. If I multiply, it means that I make it bigger. If I divide it by, it should be but smaller. Now, as you can see here, let's talk about, for example, 8%. Now, when you're talking about 8%, if you look at this model, the grid with the model of, 100 squared grid, you can notice that actually here we shaded, let's say, 8 squares only. It means that we are talking about 800s, okay? Now, this grid here actually is a model for, the hundreds in decimals, okay? Now, if it's actually, if we look at it as a column, okay, of 100, we can notice that 8% is only just filled this a small part in the bottom of this column, and it's just shaded only 8 squares from the whole 100 squares. So it's impossible to say for, some students have mistake like writing 8%, 8/10. Okay, 8/10, or it's just 0.8. No, miss. We are talking about 8 squares from 100 squares, which is 8. So now look here, we are talking here about the percent. If we want to convert it into decimal easily, we can just say that we have from the decimal point to move the from the percent sign here, to move the decimal point from right of 8 to the to the left, two digits to the left, so it's 0.08. okay, and we can say it's 8 out of 100. Now, what about 70/100? Now, you can notice 70/100, we are talking about almost 70 squares are shaded in the, grid for the hundreds model, okay, and we are talking about an actually amount of, more than the half of this column, which represents the hundreds, okay, so more than the half of it is filled. So actually, you can see, miss, that the zeros after the decimal point, this is so important. I told you that, and it's so important. The zero after the decimal point at the end, the right, okay, the far right end, okay, here after 7, not between 7 and the decimal point, no, after 7, it has no value. It's meaningless. You can put as zeros as you want without any value. It means nothing. You can put it, you can, leave it. It has no value actually, because it's the same. If you say 70 out of 100, it's the same as 7 out of 10. Okay, if you look here, instead of the hundreds column, here the percent column, if you put the the tenths percent, okay, you can notice that actually it's the same. Dealing with 7 tenths, it's the same value of 70 hundredths. Okay, now let's take these examples in consideration, okay? Although we will take more about this in the lesson, which is greater than 100 and less than percent, but it's always it's good from you to know that always we have, if we want to remove the symbol, this the percent symbol, you just have to remove the decimal point where it was, wherever it is, to the left 2 digits, as here it will be, look, 24 thousandths. Here it will be 1 and 6 tenths. Here you will move it to the left again, you can notice, so it will be 1 point or 1 and you can read the number. Now here just look, this is so important, because here it doesn't mean that you can remove the decimal point and remove the the percent symbol. No, this, even that you have a decimal point appeared here, but you should know that you have to move it, keep moving to the left, so 2 digits to the left. So you have now, look, 2 zeros between the decimal point and between 12, okay? Now we are talking about 12 10,000ths, okay? Here, for example, we will move it from this here, decimal point 2 to the left, which will be 7, okay? Now what about from decimal into percent? As we can see here, now if I want to convert from decimal into percent, I actually move the opposite. I move the decimal point, okay? I remove it from my decimals, but move it to the right, okay? And put, instead of the 2 digits that I move them to the right, the symbol of the percent, okay? It's the same as multiplying by 100 and then dividing by 100, which doesn't change the value of the number, of course. If you multiply by 100, then you put this symbol, it means that you divide by 100, and it means that you keep the value of this decimal. You just change the decimal point with, the percent symbol, okay? Now, let's take these examples before we go to the book. For example, if we are talking about point, look, or we are talking about 9 hundredths. Now I want to convert it into percent, so I should move it to the right. From decimal into percent, I move it to the right. How many digits? 2 digits, and put the symbol of percent. Now here, 2 digits to the right, it means 60%. And we say that actually 6 tenths is the same as 60 hundredths, which is 60%. Okay, now look here, I will move it to the right and put the symbol. When you put the percent symbol, you tell me actually that you move it, but you divided it actually by 100, so you didn't change the value. You just write it in a new form, but you didn't change its value. So it's 37 and 5%. Now here the same, and even here 2 For example, 200, you move it. Actually, 200, 2, I want to convert 2 into percent. Now, there is no numbers here to the right of it. So what shall I do? How can I move it? I should add 2 zeros to its right and put the symbol of the percent symbol. But let's go now to the book and start solving from the book and complete what we have started here.